Neurotransmitters in detail with respect to endocrinology in detail. Very long answer. ChatGPT. Neurotransmitters play a crucial role in communication within the nervous system, transmitting signals between neurons and influencing various physiological processes. While their primary function is related to the nervous system, neurotransmitters also have significant interactions with the endocrine system. Here's a detailed exploration of neurotransmitters with respect to endocrinology. Neurotransmitters. Acetylcholine ACH. ACH is a major neurotransmitter in the peripheral nervous system, involved in muscle contraction, memory, and cognition. It also plays a role in the autonomic nervous system's regulation of endocrine glands, including the adrenal medulla. Dopamine. Dopamine is associated with pleasure, motivation, and reward. It affects the hypothalamus, influencing the release of hormones like prolactin and growth hormone through the hypothalamic pituitary axis. Serotonin. Serotonin is involved in mood regulation, sleep, and appetite. It influences the hypothalamus and affects the release of hormones like melatonin, which controls the sleep-wake cycle. Norepinephrine. Noradrenaline. Norepinephrine is involved in the body's fight-or-flight response. It influences the adrenal medulla's release of adrenaline, which is crucial for stress responses. Gamma-aminobutyric acid. GABA. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter that regulates anxiety and stress responses. It can indirectly influence endocrine responses by modulating the hypothalamic pituitary axis. Glutamate. Glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter involved in learning and memory. It has interactions with the hypothalamus, impacting hormones like growth hormone-releasing hormone GHRH. Neurotransmitter endocrine interactions. Hypothalamic pituitary axis. The hypothalamus plays a vital role in integrating nervous and endocrine functions. Neurotransmitters released by hypothalamic neurons influence the secretion of hypothalamic-releasing hormones, which, in turn, regulate anterior pituitary hormone release. Adrenal glands. The sympathetic nervous system, activated by neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, stimulates the adrenal medulla to release adrenaline and noradrenaline, which affect heart rate, blood pressure, and the body's stress response. Stress response. Neurotransmitters released during stress can trigger the hypothalamus-pituitary-adrenal HPA axis, leading to the release of cortisol, a stress hormone. Cortisol influences metabolism, immune response, and other functions. Neurotransmitters and reproduction. Dopamine and serotonin influence the hypothalamic-pituitary-gonadal axis, affecting the release of hormones like prolactin, luteinizing hormone LH, and follicle-stimulating hormone FSH. Clinical significance. Neuroendocrine disorders. Imbalances in neurotransmitters can impact the function of the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, leading to hormonal imbalances. Mood disorders. Neurotransmitter imbalances are linked to mood disorders like depression and anxiety, which can indirectly influence endocrine function. Stress and hormones. Chronic stress can affect neurotransmitter levels and disrupt the endocrine system, leading to conditions like adrenal fatigue and hormonal imbalances. Hormonal regulation. Neurotransmitters contribute to the fine-tuning of hormonal release, maintaining homeostasis in the body. In conclusion, neurotransmitters are essential for neural communication but also have intricate interactions with the endocrine system. Their influence on the hypothalamus-pituitary axis and the stress response underscores their role in maintaining overall physiological balance. Understanding these interactions is crucial for a comprehensive understanding of both the nervous and endocrine system's intricate workings. Examples. ChatGPT. Certainly, here are some examples of how neurotransmitters interact with the endocrine system. Dopamine and prolactin. Dopamine inhibits the release of prolactin from the anterior pituitary. In conditions like hyperprolactinemia, where dopamine levels are low, prolactin secretion increases. This can lead to disruptions in menstrual cycles and infertility in females and reduced libido and impotence in males. Serotonin and melatonin. Serotonin is a precursor to melatonin, a hormone that regulates the sleep-wake cycle. The pineal gland converts serotonin into melatonin during the night, contributing to the circadian rhythm. Epinephrine and norepinephrine. These neurotransmitters are released during the fight-or-flight response and also act as hormones when secreted by the adrenal medulla. They increase heart rate, dilate airways, and redirect blood flow to muscles, preparing the body for physical exertion. GABA and stress response. GABA inhibits neuronal activity, counteracting the effects of excitatory neurotransmitters like norepinephrine. Stress-induced depletion of GABA can lead to heightened anxiety and an exaggerated stress response. Glutamate and growth hormone-releasing hormone GHRH. Glutamate influences the release of GHRH from the hypothalamus. GHRH then stimulates the anterior pituitary to release growth hormone, which plays a role in growth and metabolism. Oxytocin and social bonding. Oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone, is involved in social bonding, trust, and emotional attachment. It can influence the release of other hormones, such as prolactin, during breastfeeding and uterine contractions during labor. Neurotransmitter stress hormones. Stress-induced neurotransmitter release, like norepinephrine, can trigger the HPA axis, leading to the secretion of cortisol from the adrenal cortex. Cortisol helps the body cope with stress by mobilizing energy reserves. Neurotransmitters and fertility. Neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin influence the secretion of gonadotropin-releasing hormone GnRH from the hypothalamus. GnRH then regulates the release of LH and FSH from the pituitary, which are essential for reproductive function. These examples highlight how the interactions between neurotransmitters and the endocrine system are tightly intertwined, influencing various physiological processes, including stress response, mood regulation, reproduction, and more. Pheromones in detail with respect to endocrinology in detail. Pheromones in detail with respect to endocrinology in detail. ChatGPT. Pheromones are chemical substances produced by organisms to communicate with members of the same species. They play a crucial role in various physiological and behavioral responses, often by influencing the endocrine system. Here's a detailed explanation of pheromones in relation to endocrinology. Production and detection. Pheromones are produced by specialized glands in animals and are released into the environment. These chemical signals are then detected by sensory receptors, often specialized in olfaction or taste, present in the same species. Influence on endocrine system. Pheromones can influence the endocrine system through various mechanisms. Reproductive behavior. Sex pheromones play a vital role in attracting potential mates. They can influence the release of hormones related to reproductive activities. For instance, many animals, exposure to sex pheromones can stimulate the release of sex hormones like testosterone or estradiol. Synchronization of reproduction. In social animals, pheromones can help synchronize the reproductive cycles of individuals within a group. This can lead to more efficient reproduction and increased chances of successful mating. Territorial behavior. Some pheromones mark territorial boundaries. When detected by other animals, these chemical signals can induce stress responses, leading to the release of stress-related hormones like cortisol. Aggregation. Insects and other animals use aggregation pheromones to attract members of the same species into groups. This can lead to the coordinated release of hormones related to group behavior. Alarm and defense. Alarm pheromones are released in response to danger, alerting nearby individuals to potential threats. The detection of these pheromones can trigger the release of stress hormones, preparing the animals for a fight or flight response. Maternal behavior. Pheromones produced by newborns can induce maternal behaviors in females. The detection of these pheromones can trigger the release of hormones like prolactin and oxytocin, promoting nurturing behavior. Examples. Queen pheromones. In honeybees, the queen bee produces pheromones that suppress the development of worker bees' ovaries and regulate the division of labor within the hive. Mate attraction. Moths release sex pheromones that can attract mates from long distances. The detection of these pheromones triggers a cascade of hormonal responses leading to mating behavior. Territorial marking. In many mammals, such as wolves and big cats, pheromones from urine mark territorial boundaries. These pheromones can lead to hormonal responses related to stress and dominance. Conclusion. Pheromones are an essential part of animal communication, often influencing the endocrine system and resulting in various physiological and behavioral responses. They play a vital role in reproduction, social interactions, defense, and overall species survival. Understanding the complex interactions between pheromones and the endocrine system is crucial for deciphering the intricate mechanisms of animal behavior and physiology. Neurotransmitters and pheromones in detail. ChatGPT. Certainly, let's delve into the details of neurotransmitters and pheromones. Neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that transmit signals across synapses, which are the junctions between nerve cells, neurons, or between neurons and their target cells, such as muscles or glands. They play a pivotal role in transmitting signals within the nervous system and are involved in various physiological and behavioral responses. Types and functions. Acetylcholine ACH, found in both the central and peripheral nervous systems. ACH is responsible for muscle contraction, learning, memory, and attention. Dopamine, linked to pleasure and reward. Dopamine also plays a role in motivation, motor control, and mood regulation. Dysregulation is associated with conditions like Parkinson's disease and addiction. Serotonin, known for its influence on mood, emotion, and sleep, serotonin also plays a role in appetite regulation and social behavior. Imbalances are linked to depression and anxiety disorders. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that transmit signals across synapses, which are the junctions between nerve cells, neurons, or between neurons and their target cells, such as muscles or glands. They play a pivotal role in transmitting signals within the nervous system and are involved in various physiological and behavioral responses. Types and functions. Acetylcholine ACH, found in both the central and peripheral nervous systems. ACH is responsible for muscle contraction, learning, memory, and attention. Dopamine, linked to pleasure and reward. Dopamine also plays a role in motivation, motor control, and mood regulation. Dysregulation is associated with conditions like Parkinson's disease and addiction. Serotonin, known for its influence on mood, emotion, and sleep, serotonin also plays a role in appetite regulation and social behavior. Imbalances are linked to depression and anxiety disorders. Norepinephrine, also called noradrenaline. Norepinephrine is involved in the fight or flight response, alertness, and attention. It plays a role in mood disorders like depression and anxiety. Gamma-aminobutyric acid GABA, an inhibitory neurotransmitter. GABA reduces neural excitability and plays a critical role in controlling anxiety, sleep, and muscle tone. Pheromones. Pheromones are chemical signals that organisms release to communicate with others of the same species. They trigger physiological or behavioral responses in receiving individuals and play a significant role in reproductive, social, and defensive behaviors. Types and functions. Sex pheromones, emitting by individuals to signal their readiness to mate. Sex pheromones can attract mates from a distance. They play a vital role in reproductive behaviors and species propagation. Aggregation pheromones, these attract individuals of the same species together in groups. They are crucial for maintaining social structures, particularly in insects. Alarm pheromones, released in response to threats. Alarm pheromones signal danger to other members of the same species. This helps coordinate defense mechanisms and is common in insects. Territorial pheromones, used to mark territory boundaries. These pheromones deter other members of the same species from entering the marked area. They are particularly important in animals with territorial behaviors. Interrelation. While neurotransmitters primarily function within an individual's nervous system to transmit signals, pheromones act between individuals to elicit specific responses. However, there can be interactions at the interface of the nervous and endocrine systems. For example, certain neurotransmitters can influence the release of hormones, including those involved in pheromone production. Additionally, the detection of pheromones can trigger neural responses, leading to behavioral changes. Conclusion. Neurotransmitters and pheromones are both crucial in mediating communication and behavior, although they operate on different scales and contexts. Neurotransmitters facilitate rapid signaling within an individual's nervous system, while pheromones are external signals influencing the behavior and physiology of other individuals in the same species. The interaction between these chemical messengers and their effects on the nervous and endocrine systems contribute to the complexity of animal communication and behavior. Synthesis of hormones in detail. Very long answer. ChatGPT. Sure, let's delve into the synthesis of hormones in detail. Synthesis of hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers that regulate various physiological processes in the body. They are produced by specific glands and tissues and play a crucial role in maintaining homeostasis, growth, development, metabolism, and reproduction. The synthesis of hormones involves complex processes within cells and tissues. Here general overview. 1. Peptide hormones. Peptide hormones are synthesized through the following steps. Gene activation. The genes encoding the hormone are activated in response to specific signals or stimuli. Transcription. The activated gene is transcribed into messenger RNA, mRNA. Translation. The mRNA is translated in the cytoplasm to synthesize the preprohormone. Signal peptide cleavage. The signal peptide is cleaved from the preprohormone to form a prohormone. Post-translational modifications. The prohormone undergoes various modifications, including cleavage of translation. The mRNA is translated in the cytoplasm to synthesize the preprohormone. Signal peptide cleavage. The signal peptide is cleaved from the preprohormone to form a prohormone. Post-translational modifications. The prohormone undergoes various modifications, including cleavage of specific segments to form the active hormone and other fragments. Packaging and secretion. The active hormone is packaged into vesicles and transported to the cell membrane. Upon appropriate stimulation, the vesicles release the hormone into the bloodstream. 2. Steroid hormones. Steroid hormones are derived from cholesterol and are synthesized in the endocrine glands, particularly the adrenal cortex and gonads, testes, and ovaries. The synthesis involves several steps. Cholesterol uptake. Cells take up cholesterol from the bloodstream or synthesize it within the cell. Conversion to pregnenolone. Cholesterol is converted to pregnenolone through a series of enzymatic reactions, primarily occurring in the mitochondria. Steroid hormones are derived from cholesterol and are synthesized in the endocrine glands, particularly the adrenal cortex and gonads, testes, and ovaries. The synthesis involves several steps. Cholesterol uptake. Cells take up cholesterol from the bloodstream or synthesize it within the cell. Conversion to pregnenolone. Cholesterol is converted to pregnenolone through a series of enzymatic reactions, primarily occurring in the mitochondria. Conversion to specific hormones. Pregnenolone serves as a precursor for different classes of steroid hormones, such as glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex hormones. Enzymatic reactions. Enzymes in specific glands and tissues further modify the intermediate molecules to produce the final active hormones. Secretion. The synthesized steroid hormones are released into the bloodstream. 3. Amine hormones. Amine hormones are derived from the amino acids tyrosine or tryptophan. The synthesis process varies based on the type of amine hormone. Catecholamines, e.g., epinephrine, norepinephrine derived from tyrosine. Catecholamines are synthesized in the adrenal medulla. 3. Amine hormones. Amine hormones are derived from the amino acids tyrosine or tryptophan. The synthesis process varies based on the type of amine hormone. Catecholamines, e.g., epinephrine, norepinephrine derived from tyrosine. Catecholamines are synthesized in the adrenal medulla. Enzymes convert tyrosine to dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. Thyroid hormones, e.g., thyroxine, triiodothyronine derived from tyrosine. Thyroid hormones are synthesized in the thyroid gland. Tyrosine is first converted to monoidotyrosine, MIT, and diiodotyrosine, DIT, which then combine to form T3 and T4. 4. Lipid-derived hormones. Lipid-derived hormones include eicosanoids, which are derived from arachidonic acid and play roles in inflammation and immune responses. They are synthesized through enzymatic reactions involving enzymes like cyclooxygenase COX and lipoxygenase LOX. 5. Feedback regulation. The synthesis of hormones is tightly regulated through feedback mechanisms. Negative feedback loops help maintain hormone levels within the appropriate range. When hormone levels rise, they can inhibit further hormone synthesis, while low hormone levels stimulate their production. Conclusion. Hormone synthesis is a complex process involving multiple steps, enzymes, and regulatory mechanisms. The synthesis of hormones is tailored to the specific needs of the body, and each type of hormone has its own unique pathway. Proper hormone synthesis is essential for maintaining the body's physiological functions and overall homeostasis. Delivery of hormones in detail. Very long answer. ChatGPT. Certainly, let's delve into the delivery of hormones in detail. Delivery of hormones. Hormones are essential chemical messengers that regulate various physiological processes in the body. They need to be delivered to target tissues and cells for their effects to be exerted. The delivery of hormones involves complex mechanisms that ensure proper communication between glands, target cells, and tissues. Here's a comprehensive overview. 1. Endocrine glands. Endocrine glands are responsible for producing hormones. These glands include the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal glands, pancreas, gonads, testes, and ovaries, and more. Hormones are synthesized and secreted by these glands in response to specific stimuli or signals. 2. Hormone transport. Once hormones are synthesized, they need to be transported to their target cells. Hormones can be classified into water-soluble. Delivery of hormones in detail. Very long answer. ChatGPT. Certainly, let's delve into the delivery of hormones in detail. Delivery of hormones. Hormones are essential chemical messengers that regulate various physiological processes in the body. They need to be delivered to target tissues and cells for their effects to be exerted. The delivery of hormones involves complex mechanisms that ensure proper communication between glands, target cells, and tissues. Here's a comprehensive overview. 1. Endocrine glands. Endocrine glands are responsible for producing hormones. These glands include the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal glands, pancreas, gonads, testes, and ovaries, and more. Hormones are synthesized and secreted by these glands in response to specific stimuli or signals. 2. Hormone transport. Once hormones are synthesized, they need to be transported to their target cells. Hormones can be classified into water-soluble, peptide and amine hormones, and lipid-soluble, steroid and thyroid hormones categories. The transport mechanisms differ for these two groups. Water-soluble hormones. Peptide and amine hormones are water-soluble and cannot easily cross the cell membrane. They travel through the bloodstream in their free form, dissolved in plasma. These hormones bind to specific receptors on the surface of target cells, triggering signaling pathways in cell. Lipid-soluble hormones. Steroid and thyroid hormones are lipid-soluble and can diffuse across the cell membrane. They often bind to carrier proteins in the bloodstream, which prolongs their half-life and protects them from rapid degradation. Once they reach target cells, they can directly enter the